AI can now write your prospecting email. It can research your buyers in seconds, it can score your leads, it can predict which deals will close, and even draft your proposals. And if that's all your job is, writing emails, researching buyers, or filling out proposals, then yes, you're done. AI is coming for your role. But here's what I've learned after years of working on complex enterprise deals. The part of selling that actually closes those 6 and 7 figures contracts has almost nothing to do with any of those tasks. Let me be clear, AI is genuinely transforming B2B sales, and it should. There's a tremendous amount of repetitive, low-value work that sellers have been doing manually for decades. Research, data entry, follow-up sequences, first draft emails. AI handles all of that faster and better than any human. And the vendors selling these tools are making bold claims. AI will replace 80% of sales tasks. Your SDR team is obsolete. The AI seller that never sleeps. Some of that is true, but here's what they don't tell you. I was talking with one of my friends working at a SaaS platform, and they were all in on AI, automated outbound, AI-generated sequences, AI-scored leads. The pipeline went up by 40% in 3 months, but the close rate dropped, and not by a little, by almost half, because there were more conversations but fewer deals. And when they looked at what was happening, there was an obvious pattern. The AI was excellent at starting the conversation, but the moment a deal moved past the initial interest phase, the moment in turn the world of internal politics, competing priorities, executive scrutiny, the AI had nothing to offer. Because enterprise deals don't close on information. They close on trust, timing, and political navigation. And those are deeply human skills. Let me walk you through the 3 capabilities that no AI tools can replicate. And that will define your most valuable sellers over the next decade. In complex B2B sales, every deal has a political landscape. There are champions, there are the skeptics, and there are people who will never say anything openly, but quietly they will slow things down until the deal dies. AI can tell you who's on the buying committee. It can pull their LinkedIn profile. It might even flag that someone changed roles recently. But it cannot tell you that the VP of operation is threatened by this purchase because it makes her team's manual process look inefficient. It cannot sense that the CFO's silence in the last meeting was not disinterest. It was disagreement he didn't want to voice in front of the CEO. So, seeing deals, even large deals, where the AI tools say that everything look healthy, a high engagement score, a responsive champion, but then, still, you might still get procurement lead that keep deferring questions to the team. And that's a signal. That means someone above them has raised a concern, and they've been told to slow things down without saying no. AI will not catch that. A skilled seller will do. Here is something most sellers don't understand. The higher you go in an organization, the more risk-averse the buyer becomes. Not because they're timid, because they have more to lose. So a director can champion a 200K purchase and recover if it doesn't work out. A C-suite executive who sponsored a failed 7-figure initiative, that will follow them their entire career. So the real skill in enterprise selling is not persuading executives to buy, it's making them feel safe enough to decide. And that means knowing when to stop pitching and start listening. It means validating their concern instead of overcoming their objections. It means positioning yourself as someone who reduces their risk, not someone who adds pressure. I know a seller who was struggling to close a deal with a large financial services firm. She had a business case, the ROI was clear, but the CTO kept delaying. When analyzing, she realized that she's been presenting like a salesperson, building urgency, showing value, pushing for next steps. But what the CTO actually needed was reassurance. He needed to hear, okay, look, here's what happened if this doesn't work. Here's how we unwind it. Here's how we protect your credibility. And the moment she shifted from persuasion to protection, the deal moved. And so AI can generate a business case. It cannot generate safety. And that requires empathy, timing, and the kind of presence that only comes from human connection. Just think about it. The most important moments in enterprise sales are not scripted. They happen in the hallway after the formal meeting. They happen when a champion calls you and says, Look, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but these moments don't exist in the CRM. They don't show up in an engagement score. AI has no data on them because they happen off the record. Yet, these are the moments that determine whether a deal closes or die. A skilled enterprise seller creates a condition for these conversations. They build enough trust that people share what's really going on. They know how to ask the questions behind the question. They know when to be silent and let someone fill the space with the truth. They cannot be automated. Period. If you're in B2B sales right now and you're wondering whether AI is going to replace you, here's my honest take. If your value is in the tasks, the email, the research, the data, then yes, you should be concerned. Those tasks are being automated, and they should be. But if your value is in the human layer, in reading politics, creating safety, navigating the unscripted, then AI doesn't threaten you. It frees you. It frees you from the busy work so you can spend more time on the part of selling that actually matters. The part that closes enterprise deals. The part that builds long-term client relationship. The part that no algorithm can touch. The seller who will thrive in the AI era are not the ones who resist the technology. They're the ones who use AI to handle the commodity work and invest the time they save into becoming better at the human work. So sharpen your ability to read a room, learn to create psychological safety, build the kind of trust that makes people tell you things they don't tell your competitors. That's not a nice to have. In the AI era, that's your entire competitive advantage. If this resonated, I would encourage you to think about one deal you're working on right now and ask yourself, am I spending most of my time on the task or on the human layer? Because that's going to define not just whether this deal closes, but whether your career grows over the next 5 years. If you found this valuable, subscribe below. I share frameworks for navigating complex B2B deals every week, and drop a comment telling me what's the most important human skill in selling that AI will never replace. I'd love to have your perspective. I'll see you on the next one.